Iran just carried out one of the most devastating blows on Israel, destroying the Israeli stock exchange building and command and control areas that belong to the Israeli terror regime, with the Major General Mousavi of the Iranian armed forces declaring that any assets that belong to the Zionist regime are now targets of Iran. I'm going to share some of the videos that came today from Israel. This was one of them, of the attack on the building in the stock exchange. Let's have a look at this video. So this was one of the videos that came out, but many other videos were clearly showing the damage that came afterwards. Have a look at this here. Then, despite Israeli attempts to try and hide the damage as much as possible, with the Israeli Minister of National Security saying that they need to report anyone who watches Al Jazeera, people were continuing to publish the damage. Let me share some more videos of the intensity of the damage. This is another video here. Look at that. Total destruction in Tel Aviv with multiple missiles landing. Clearly Iran using some of its more advanced missiles now on Tel Aviv. This came just after 7 a.m. in the morning, following a very intense night. Israel is already on high alert for the majority of the time. But despite all of the talk about the Iranian capabilities declining on all of that propaganda talk, Israel is getting hit really, really bad. And despite the fact that they're trying to hide their losses by having these censorships that are happening in Israel, videos are coming left, right, and center. But the level of damage that's happening in Israel, and the Israelis are trying to terrorize some of the media, although the media that's operating in Israel now receives confirmations that they are able to, record. And this was another video here of the damage that's happening inside of Tel Aviv. There are a lot of problems. They're threatening some of the media in Israel, international media, and also locals who are trying to publish any of the damage. This is the center, guys, of Tel Aviv, by the way. These are the central parts of Israel, the most important strategic financial districts in Israel. And the actual building of the stock exchange, Iran targeted it directly with damage that Israel has never seen before. Throughout all of Israel's existence, they have never seen any damage like this. More images were coming as well about the damage, and with the base that Iran targeted near the Soroka hospital. Israel always blamed the Palestinians of having these command and control centers, but with Israel, of course, they're pathological liars, and every accusation is a confession of their own wrongdoings. And we'll get to that in a second. But there is another video here showing you the intensity of the damage coming from Tel Aviv this morning. Have a look at this here.
תראו מה קרה בחוץ, אתם לא מאמינים. אימא לכל הרחוב נשבר, אין יותר, אתם לא מבינים מה קורה פה. דנה, תראי מה קרה לבניין שלך, יצ'יין, הלך. הלך כל המכלאות. רגע, מה, אימא להם? אני תקשיבי, לא בקריאים. וואו, תראו מה קרה לבניינים למטה. אימא להם, תראי את זה. תקשיבי, אין פה פילים רחוב. תראו מה קרה בחוץ.
So this was some of the damage that happened to the buildings that belong to the state. There were more images of the destruction that some of the buildings had to, like these images over here. You have a look, huge levels of destruction coming inside of Tel Aviv in an unprecedented attack coming from Iran, probably the most intense attack. A minister's house was also targeted. There was a video published by him here. This was a previous Israeli minister who published a video of the damage that his house sustained with scenes of destruction. In the meantime, the Israeli Minister of National Security, he was hysteric today. He was so paranoid that people are publishing videos, and that he was saying that people can't watch news networks, and that people need to report. People who watch Al Jazeera, for example, although Israel is having all of these moves against all sorts of media and independent people too, but tough luck, it's not happening, and people are recording and publishing everything. Now, he had a statement earlier on, televised statement. He was threatening people who were watching Al Jazeera, and he was also saying, yes, there is... listen to this.
גם הבוקר בתל אביב אירוע שהחרימו ציוד, עיכבו צלם, אנחנו לא ניתן לאל ג'זירה לשדר מישראל, ואני קורא לכל מי שרואה את אל ג'זירה, לכל האזרחים לעדכן את המשטרה. אני יודע שגם שירות הביטחון הכללי בנושא, ויש אמירה מפורשת, מדיניות מפורשת, אל ג'זירה מסכנת את ביטחון המדינה. יש גם הבוקר בתל אביב.
So he's threatening against Al Jazeera and other networks too, but he also said something that was very alarming, which was, yes, there is a lot of destruction, but remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Is this an outright blatant threat coming from Israel to drop a nuclear bomb on Iran? This is the first time that an Israeli official in the government is saying something that is linked to a nuclear bomb. Remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In the meantime, the previous Israeli Prime Minister, and there's more damage in Israel that I'm going to get to in a second, by the way, especially the one in Soroka, where all of the genocide child killers go to get treated after they get a serious beating from the Palestinian resistance in Gaza. We'll get to that in a second. But the Israeli previous Prime Minister, Ehud Barak, he had an interview earlier on in which he stated that we are unable to defeat Iran, or now we can't get rid of the Iranian nuclear program. The only option is to take down the establishment, take down the government, take down the country. And we are unable to do that unless the United States participates. But he's giving a very serious scenario. He's saying even if the United States participates, the United States did not have successes in any of its wars. In Vietnam, its wars in other countries, its war in Iraq, and its war in Afghanistan. He's saying that even if the Americans participate, we can't do anything to Iran. In a way, confirming that they have no option. Now, there were also images of the moments of landing in Israel that I wanted to share with you. Let's have a look at one of these videos here, and I will share another video with you too. Some of them, so there were some interceptions or attempts of interceptions, at least that's what it looks like, but then we saw the landings from that missile. Let's have a look. So this was the moment of explosion, but there was another video being published from a distance that shows the level of shockwave that Israel faced. Here we can see another video of the moment of the damage. Have a look at this. But another video was showing the moment of impact. And clearly what Iran is using now is some of its more serious missiles. If Iran is sending some missiles that are previous gen, or trying for Israel's air defense systems to be active, for example, they are also indeed landing some of the more serious missiles. Because look at the shockwave, for example, in this video over here. Now this, so the first one was the shockwave, and this one here is the Soroka Hospital. The Soroka Hospital is an Israeli hospital in the south that has a strategic location that is intended for the command and control of the Israeli army. Israel always blamed the Palestinians of having command and control, but again, like we said, every accusation from Israel is a confession to their wrongdoings. And the Iranians released a map that details exactly what Israel has in that hospital, and I will also share with you the level of damage that the hospital sustains. This is the map that Iran published. This is the Soroka Medical Center and IDF Intelligence Campus headquarters here too, alongside a helipad as well. And this hospital houses the main locations to treat the genocide soldiers who participate in the Gaza genocide. People who go and kill children go and get treated in that hospital. Several images were published of the for the damage that this hospital sustained, as we can see in this video here. This is one of them. And these were scenes that were coming from inside of the hospital as well, as we can see in this video. And there was also another video of the damage that happened from outside of the building, and clearly Iran caused a lot of damage with this attack, and the hospital sustained a lot of damage. And again, this is the same hospital that houses the Israeli genocide soldiers who go to the Gaza Strip and get treated following their genocide participation. This was one of the images that was published of that wing of the hospital. Now, clearly, there's a lot of damage going on, and Israel is in literally panic mode completely. Netanyahu is getting very anxious. Then Itamar Ben-Gvir is coming out saying that, remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in a way to try and kind of threaten Iran or scare them. What we're understanding so far is that there's a very high likelihood that Iran used the Khorram Shahr missile. The Khorram Shahr missile is one of Iran's most dangerous missiles, hypersonic, with an exceptionally large warhead as well, capable of severe destruction. But again, the Iranians are using multiple weapons, and again, Iran's strategy in attacking Israel in the past few days has been multiple waves throughout the day. So for example, throughout the day we'll hear drones going to Israel to activate and exhaust the Israeli air defense systems, literally getting rid of all of the Israeli air defense system missiles too, then followed by waves of missiles, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30 throughout the day. This is exhausting Israel. And this attack that came this morning has been exceptionally difficult for Israel, especially when we talk about Tel Aviv and the stock exchange buildings and these specific targets that Iran hit inside of Israel. You're talking about a very, very hard attack on Israel this morning that the Israelis cannot even comprehend yet the level of destruction that's coming, the scenes that are coming from Israel about the damage sustained to all of those buildings is something that the Israelis cannot comprehend. They're saying that we're basically turning into Gaza now, with all of the destruction scenes, with all of the damage, the level of impacts, the level of accuracy of the impacts, the effect that this is making with the population. They thought they were invincible. They thought that the air defense systems would be successful, yet these scenes are coming from Israel. This is not Gaza. This is not an Arab capital. This is Israel with its buildings being destroyed. Now, this proves several things. This proves that Iran is in no way, shape, or form reducing its intense activities against Israel following the Israeli terrorist aggression against Iran and its nuclear sites and some of its strategic locations as well. Iran is not backing down whatsoever, and clearly they are giving Israel a severe punishment, a punishment that Israel has never faced in its entire life. Now, the fact that the United States still hasn't participated with Israel, the fact that Iran is able to conduct such intense attacks on a daily basis inside of Israel, the fact that we have the previous Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, saying that even if the Americans will be participating with us, we wouldn't be able to beat the Iranians, but we just need to try and target the actual establishment, the actual authorities in Iran. All of this is showing you how powerful Iran is and how weak Israel is. Israel is weaker than a spider's web. Israel is a paper tiger. And the only way they have been able to scare the countries and nations around them is by literally having these psychological warfares against them, portraying themselves as if they're greater than what they are, instilling the mentality of defeat inside of these countries, and convince them that Israel is invincible. Although what we're seeing now is that it looks like Iran is the one that's invincible, not Israel. And Israel is having so much damage that is unmatched. Again, look at the scenes coming from Tel Aviv this morning. Buildings hit, chaos, and total destruction coming from Tel Aviv, coming from strategic locations in Israel and Iran. It doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. Now, what is going to happen in the next coming days? It doesn't look like Israel is going to stop following the attacks that are coming on Israel, but it doesn't look like Iran is going to stop either. As a matter of fact, Iran will make sure that all of the attacks that it's landing on Israel, the way it's pounding Israel, it's giving it a beating, is going to make sure, and is going to try and make sure as much as possible that it has the upper hand. Israel tried to create a new equation of we want to attack Iran, and we now have a free reign and we can attack Iran where we want. That's clearly very far from the truth. And Iran is proving to be extremely effective, despite the fact that Iran is still having minor attacks. These are considered minor attacks, by the way, from Iran, because Iran has way more serious missiles and way more serious capabilities. Iran is able to launch way more than that on Israel. But again, they're preparing for a long-term war. And any long-term war will never be in the favor of Israel. However, Israel led by a psychopathic genocidal maniac, running a psychopathic genocidal country. And clearly he's leading them to oblivion. And if this continues, the Iranian attacks will only get stronger. But what we know for sure is that things are getting more tense now, and more intense days are expected ahead as well.